Evening, everybody. Okay. Saturday night, Memorial Day weekend. We watch the clock as per normal. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Okay, what do you know? We're going to come up early. And nutrient survival again. And we'll skip out of that. Move all this up. Okay. Evening, gang. Let's see. Mortimer, Krista, Scott, Pennsylvania Mama Bear, Mary Ann, John, Mary B, Nest Prepper, Swithers, Carrie, Krista Cat, Circe, Fastball, Rosie. Good, you guys can see me. Happy Saturday for Memorial Day weekend. Kind of figure it'll probably be a quieter live stream tonight. A lot of people out celebrating with family, on vacation, long weekend, doing whatever. So maybe get a chance for everybody to get a few more questions in or something like that. I don't have to try to race through as many. Something I want to bring up, maybe you guys have seen this, maybe you haven't, but perfect example was my home screen here before the live stream started, where it was just showing the little circle pinball symbol. You guys know that's not what I put up for live stream. It's been the same banner, if you will, for almost 4 years now. YouTube is definitely messing with throttling the conservative channels, the prepper channels. I can see it. I can see it on other channels. When I see the amount of people watching the videos I put up, and usually this channel's pretty stable, somewhere, 22 to 28,000 views a video, okay? And all of a sudden it's 16,000, 13,000. I mean, I get some, like the gardening videos, those, not as many people watch them. Okay, I get that. And so I was looking around, and so I started looking at some of the other channels. Rudy, Alaska Prepper, seeing the same thing. His views are way down. Popular Preparedness, or Popular Report, I guess now is what Steve calls it. Views are way down. Travis, views are way down. And these are the guys that are very consistent about putting the videos up at the same time every day. And all of a sudden, people aren't watching them. No, what that's telling me is YouTube is doing whatever they can to silence the conservative voice again, that they don't want everybody knowing the truth. So just so you guys know, those channels that you watch, you're going to probably have to go hunt us down, because how many of you have told me for months that you were unsubscribed or didn't show up in your recommendations or whatever? Y'all know I put up a video every morning, and there's usually one around lunch. Of course, that was today. I didn't get home until almost 3 o'clock this afternoon. I put up both of them this morning just so they were there, so you guys knew what was going on. Pay attention to that, because that's literally, and the scary part is Mrs. P was watching some stuff, and she's like, yeah, this happens. They do it, and it's kind of like YouTube trying to thin the herd, saying, well, we don't want this person to be seen anymore. Maybe if we just restrict all the views, they'll stop putting up videos. I ain't stopping. They can do whatever they want. Y'all will fight me. I figure that. So, other than that, around here, it finally didn't rain today, so it was nice to get out and get a few things done. And actually got all the cherries off my cherry tree, all 3 of them. So it's still waiting for the cherry tree to keep on growing, but it didn't get much. The pears, the plums, the peaches, those are good. Told you guys yesterday. Here, I'll show you this. So yesterday it was harvesting beets and more cabbage and a bunch of quarts of borscht. So that was all made yesterday. It's nice. The only thing that was in there that wasn't out of our garden was, go figure, the carrots. But onions, garlic, cabbage, beets, potatoes, everything like that, that's all from us. So putting all that up, getting that done, I mean, last year's potatoes, trust me. But you guys know I saved a whole bunch of those, canned those up, and now they work great to throw in a recipe. Uh, but yeah, I mean, the gardens this year, for a lot of us, at least around East Tennessee, are doing great. The fruit trees are doing really good. Things are growing well. So, which is good. Maybe it's God's way of saying, okay, for all your hard work, I'm going to make sure you don't starve when the world goes to shit. You're starting to see comments coming out of, how do you want to put it? I don't even know. Let's just say it's people. Okay. I mean, I'm not, these aren't wackos or anything like that, but you're starting to hear more and more comments about war coming. I told you guys in the second video this morning about what Zelensky's doing, trying to goad NATO into going to war against Russia. There's a lot of signals right now that this is not going to be a fun summer. So we're going to see what happens. So hopefully y'all are pretty comfortable where you are prepped with what you need, food-wise, weapons-wise, security-wise, electricity-wise, whatever you deem is important to you, hopefully you've got it well taken care of. Because gut feeling tells me a lot of us are going to be tapping into a lot of our preps here in the next couple of months. So that's what that is. Okay, let's get into Q&A. I already see we got some fun questions in here. Let's have some fun tonight. Just crazy stuff. Who knows what you guys want to talk about? But keep my brain. This is always good because you make me think here, then here, then here. I got to go on the fly, so it's good brain stimulation for me. But let's get into Q&A. As per normal, it is. Completely lost train of thought. As per normal, please put all your questions in caps. Just makes it easier for me to find everything. The only thing I do require, as per normal, is please be civil in here. Treat everybody else with the same respect you'd expect to be treated with. If you don't expect anybody to respect you, tough, then leave. So that's it. No rude comments, no nothing. All right, so let us get through here. And we'll start to see where we go here. Okay, there's all the hellos. And Holly H, my EcoFlow and Opus batteries came in handy this past week in Houston power outages. Thank you for teaching how great they are. Good, I'm glad you have them. And I remember watching all that and seeing that they were talking about parts of Houston maybe without power for 2 weeks. And I'm going, I hope everybody was down there over the last few years has taken advantage of something. So good. I'm glad, Holly, at least you had a pot of coffee to make or some lights to use, whatever, depending on how much power that you got put together. But good deal. Brenda H. Yeah, no reminder of live streams anymore. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, they're doing whatever they can to silence us. And gee, go figure, because Joe is an embarrassment and Google is uber liberal and they don't want to have any part in making Joe look stupid. Not that we need to do it for him. He's pretty good about doing it all by himself. So let's see. Aloha J, question, Pinball. How come your subscribers are around 100,000 and is not increased? We're actually at 100, almost 114. So yeah, I mean, we hit 100. Oh, we hit 100 about a year ago. But yeah, okay, we've added 14,000 subscribers. I've said a million times, I don't care how many subscribers you have. Okay, it's how many people actually listen to the message. And as I just said before, I get 22 to 28,000 views a video. There's 114,000 subscribers. So that means what, 90,000 subscribers don't watch a video? Why? I have no idea. Okay, but I don't worry. It's funny because y'all recognize names when we do the live streams. Okay. I see you guys in here. I mean, I was late putting it up today, but I mean, you guys will be in here 2, 3 hours ahead of time chatting. Y'all know each other. Okay. And the new people come in and eventually they get into the swing of things and you start knowing people. People come and people go. Okay. And that's fine. You get it. I mean, maybe I bore some people. I don't expect everybody to like me. Not in real life, not online. It's not a problem. But I get to know you guys too. I get to recognize these names and the people that email me and the people that are and you start to get an idea of who the real preppers are and who the fly-by-nighters are. It's like, oh, I'm going to try this out for a couple of months. Oh, I don't like it, and off and running you go. I mean, and I see when I'll go into live streams on other channels and things like that, I'll see some of the same names I see in here. I was on Orlando Preppers live stream the other night, and a bunch of people in there. As soon as I came in, it's like, hey, 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 hey. It's like, okay, I'm just another guy. But I recognize them. They recognize me. It's like, okay, these are people that we all learn from each other. So, yeah, but I don't worry about subscriber numbers. Prep Rebel, there you go. Ain't gonna happen. My videos will keep going up. Good. Good, because you're one of the voices that everybody needs to listen to. Seriously, hey Pinball, we have 2 spaces in the potato patch that did not sprout. Can I pop a couple of acorn squash seeds in there, or will it interfere with the potatoes? You can plant something else in there. I probably would not plant acorn squash. If you've ever planted acorn squash or any squash for that, they spread like crazy. Okay. You can put a couple of plants in and it'll be 18, 20 feet away. I grew acorn squash a couple of years ago and it had crossed over all my peppers and they were going up the tomato cages that was in the next part of the garden. The problem that you're going to have with something like that is when you need to dig out your potatoes, you're going to wind up digging up your acorn squash. So if you're going to put something there, I would say, throw in one of your herbs or something like that. Don't throw in anything that's going to be damaged, if you will, when you're going to dig stuff up. Because I don't care if you put peppers or whatever, you're going to dig up all that ground to get those potatoes out. You're just going to kill the plant. Jennifer C, happy birthday to Mrs. P tomorrow. You guys remembered. That's very nice. Yes, tomorrow is Mrs. P's birthday. So, as long as I remember. Mark K, what's the best way to store the garlic after it's hung and dried for a couple of weeks? This is my first time growing garlic. After you've stored it and after you've dried it, and like I said, when you clip off the greenery and there's no green inside, then it's dry. Then you're fine putting it in a sleeve or like a mesh bag or anything, and just leaving it in a cool, dark place. Pantry's fine. You could put it in a drawer. You want to keep it low humidity. So best you can do something along those lines. I mean, it gets hard and here, but if you keep your house air conditioned, your humidity is not going to be that high. But yeah, as long as it's somewhere cool, dry, and preferably dark, that's good. So usually just putting it in the pantry is fine. Depending on how long, it'll store 6 months easy, which is fine because what was it? Yeah, 5 months from now, we're going to be planting it again. My garlic was a month early. So storing some garlic to plant, there's one other thing to remember to do is depending on how much you want to plant. I think I planted 90 last year, 90 cloves. And Mrs. P's already staking her claim to most of them. So I'll probably plant even a bigger patch next year. So it means I've got to save 12 to 15 heads of garlic just for seed stock for next year. So remember to do that too, because once you've started growing something, it's getting acclimated to, it's adapting, okay, to your soil conditions, to your microclimate, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, my garlic is, I just keep growing the same strain of garlic from grocery stores over and over and over again, and it's fine. My beans, for example, my white beans and my black beans, you guys remember, last year I grew white beans and black beans strictly to grow seed for this year. And so this year I had plenty of seed and put it all out, and they're doing wonderfully. So, anytime you can save your own seed that is getting used to where you are doing yourself a big favor. Tristan, thank you for the super chat. Happy birthday to you too. So your birthday is also tomorrow. Good deal. Both Geminis, yes. Yeah. Anybody who's a horoscopist or whatever, astrologist. I don't know. It was a horticulturist. No, not quite. Yeah, go do the comparison between me and Mrs. P, a Virgo and a Gemini. That'll get you somewhere. So, but Tristan, happy birthday to you as well. Let's see. David Haley, what kind of cherries do I grow that survive in Tennessee? Okay, we've talked about this a few times, and yes, it's a tough one. There is one tree I have found that is sweet cherries. It's called a sweetheart cherry, and it's not the dark black cherries like the Bing cherries that you get, the Michigan cherries or whatever, but it tastes extremely similar. They're kind of a yellowish, pinkish one, but it's called a sweetheart cherry. And they are sweet cherries. I mean, literally just snacking cherries. They're not pie cherries, not sour cherries. The trees aren't cheap. You can buy them online. They're about $100 for a tree. But I love cherries, and it's the only one that I found that sweet cherries will grow this far south. Prep Rebel, yum, yum, yum. Thanks, Mrs. Pinball. Mr. P, thank you as well. I'm assuming that's for the borscht. Because I know that comment's not about cherries. Let's see. Gizmo says, happy birthday, Mrs. P. Let's see. Master Blaster, silver still holding above 30. You're probably, unless something crazy happens, you're probably not going to see silver drop below 30. 30 has now wound up a very solid support. Again, you guys know technical analysis. I've tried to explain a little bit about it. You can go learn it, but that, there aren't fundamentals to trade gold and silver. You can't see what the earnings are, what the projections are, customers that, you've got to look at technical analysis for precious metals. Solid support for silver is at solid support is 30. So I would not expect it to drop below. Doesn't mean it can't happen, but if it does drop below, it's going to be a blip, so if you ever see it drop below 30, buy. Gold, I doubt we ever see sub 2,000 gold again. I mean, that'd be a 20% drop from here. So could it happen? Yes. It's going to take some sort of catastrophic event, but we go to war, gold and silver are going up. The economy collapses, gold and silver are going up. The dollar this is the thing you got to remember. The dollar keeps getting weaker. And yeah, they can keep saying, oh, the dollar's staying at 105, staying at 105. Everything's getting weaker. We're just not getting weaker as fast as everybody else. Okay, so as the dollar keeps getting weaker, precious metals keep getting stronger. Lance Corporal Veteran, here we go. We got the Marines in the house. Trump just finished his Libertarian convention speech. Crowd was loud. Thank you for the super chat on that one. I saw stories on it today that there were a whole bunch of libertarians that were not thrilled that Trump was coming to speak. Honestly, you could probably say Trump has more in common with the Libertarian Party than any other presidential candidate we've ever had, with the exception of maybe Ross Perot. Because you start looking, I mean, and granted, there are some things that he differs on, okay, than the Libertarian, but there's something, I mean, if there's anywhere I'd say I align closest to would be Libertarian, and there's some things that I absolutely disagree with the platform on. So, but yeah, interesting to see that Trump got an invite to go speak to him. But then again, hey, Trump is the first president to go do a campaign stump in the Bronx since Ronald Reagan. Okay, and I love to see the liberal heads exploding, what was it, Kathy Hochul calling them all clowns, AOC praying for rain, some of them going, the numbers were faked, that Trump didn't nearly have 25,000 people in there until you take a look at the pictures. Okay. Yeah. And then Lance Corporal Veteran again says the crowd was both supportive and a few boos. And I kind of figured that would happen, that we'd have a few boos in there, because of course there's never Trumpers in there, so not a big deal. Lisa, thank you for the super chat. Happy birthday, Mrs. P. I hope you have a wonderful day. Yes, so I have to make Mrs. P's day tomorrow. We're going to go out to dinner with friends tomorrow. That will be fun. And other than that, I will kind of give her a break, let her do what she wants to do. So I'll have to figure out something, make breakfast for her or something like that. She wants a cheat day is what she wants. She wants Bellini and strawberry jam. I know that. So I'm probably going to have to let her cheat on the diet tomorrow. Swithers 00. What brand of vodka would Mrs. P recommend? You're going to get the recommendation from me and not from her. Mrs. P is not much of a drinker at all. Maybe a couple of times a year she will overindulge. Let's put it that way. She doesn't know moderation when it comes to it. She does not drink much. If there's any vodka I would recommend, it would absolutely be Belvedere. That stuff. Okay. That is probably, in my opinion, one of the best out there. I know people love Grey Goose. Every time I have ever tried that, it smells like perfume to me, but go figure, it's French. Stoli is not it's the big, everybody knows Stoli. It's the Russian vodka or whatever it is. It's not, it's like Smirnoff in Russia. It's just a vodka. It's nothing special. They've made such a big deal about it being here, but nothing. I know people like Absolute and everything, but again, the reason I like Belvedere is it's true potato vodka, not grain vodka, which is what most of them are. Mima says, happy birthday, Mrs. P. Thank you. Amanda Wilkerson, Pinball, question. Can I make blackberry wine the same way you made strawberry wine? You can make any fruit wine the same way I made it. We're not talking about a lot of difference. When my peaches come in, my pears come in, my plums come in, I didn't have enough cherries. I'd love to try to make cherry wine. But it's a country wine. This is it. Nobody from France is calling me up and saying, oh my God, can we get your recipe? No. But yeah, if you're literally juicing it, you're mixing in the sugar. And as I said in that video the other day, it's about 3 cups per half gallon there. And if you like a sweeter wine, maybe maybe make it 4 cups. That would be really sweet. If you like a little drier wine, go down to 2. You still have to have the sugars in there, guys, because that's what the yeast feasts on, to convert the sugars to the alcohol. So you still got to have it, but you can play around with the sugars and make your own recipe. Like I said, you like sweeter, add some more sugar. You like drier, add less. You can also sweeten it if you make it and go, oh, you know what, it's not sweet enough. You can, at the end of your 3 weeks, 4 weeks, there it is. Once everything's cleared out, you see all the sediment on the bottom. The yeast is all died at that point. If it's still not enough sweet enough, you still can add a little bit of sugar in there. Maybe a tablespoon or 2, and let it sit in the wine there for a couple of days, and you'll sweeten it up a little bit. It's not the preferred way to do it, but if that's what it's going to take to make it drinkable, do it. But yeah, blackberry wine, do it exactly the same. When we get blackberries here, hopefully in the next few weeks, I hope we get enough that I can at least make a bottle or two of blackberry wine too. But I don't know, Mrs. P likes red raspberries because we got both raspberries and blackberries. She's not a big blackberry fan, so I'm hoping she'll leave the blackberries for me and I can try to make a blackberry wine. We'll see. Mikhail 539, tips, tricks, words of advice for installing and using my shade cloth. I'd like to place it on 5-foot T-posts on each side of the row, suspended by PVC pipe arches across the row. That's the best way to do it, is to, if rebar actually works better, okay, than T-posts, because you can put the rebar in the ground and then you can take PVC pipe and slip it right over the top of the rebar, which will make it a lot stronger, and bend it over and stick it into the other one, as opposed to trying to tie it to a T-post. Now, if you got really wide PVC, sure, but why spend all that money? You don't need 3/4-inch PVC, is plenty. But yeah, you can do it that way. The best tip that I can give you on the shade cloth, make sure it is tight. Do not leave it to flop in the wind, because all you're going to do is allow it to catch that much more air and it's got a better chance of tearing. So make sure it's tight, but over PVC arches is the best way to do it. Brenda H says Southern Prepper made a similar video. I'm guessing it's probably on something about that we're getting throttled. Okay, so I mean, again, I'm 10 minutes behind when you guys are typing stuff. So if you can give me the context on some of them, that does help. Gigi's Garden, right up. Sorry, it shot to the bottom. I gotta go see if I can find it. Nope, I can't get that far. Sorry, Gigi, if you can put that comment in there again. I didn't get more than a couple of words into it. Limited access. I really want and need a solar generator, but the past several months there's been no sun. What the hell can I do for power? Okay, we've talked about this. This is the benefit. This is why, one of the big reasons why I like EcoFlow products. Okay. Now, granted, I've got the EcoFlow dual fuel generator. Okay, so I can run that. I can run the dual fuel. I can put gasoline in it. I can put propane in it, which then goes. I can charge my solar generators off of it. You don't need to go that far. Most everybody who's a prepper at a minimum has some sort of gas generator. Okay. I mean, I've got a 3,500 watt, 4,000 watt Champion generator. I bought it at Tractor Supply years ago in the garage. I still start it up every 6 months, make sure everything's cleaned up. I still maintain the whole thing and make sure spark plugs are good and oil changed and everything like that. Generator hardly ever gets used, but I've got it. But the reason that you want to have something like that, my Delta Pros, for example, my big ones, okay? I can charge one of those generators off AC in about 2 hours. Off of that, not even talking about my whole home system, off of that, I could run my refrigerator or freezers or something like that for 24 hours easy. It's a big enough generator. But so let's just say that I could run my refrigerator for 24 hours off of that generator. I have two choices. I can run my refrigerator off the gas generator and burn 24 hours worth of gas, or I can run the gas generator to charge the solar generator, burn 2 hours worth of gas to get 24 hours worth of power. You got, again, you're talking about backups to backups. What's your backup fuel? For a solar generator, the sun is your primary fuel. Your backup fuel is propane, gasoline, kerosene, whatever, your generator runs on, diesel. You can charge your solar generators from your gas generator. And I love when people say, well, that doesn't make sense. I just run it off my gas generator. Great. You want to burn 24 hours of gas working your gas generator? That's great. I'll burn 2. Okay. So you can use 12 times the gas I do. That's fine. If you're made of money, go for it. Jacqueline Presnell, Pinball, we tried your strawberry wine recipe. I'll let you know how we did it in about a month. Want to try more next week. If I wait, the strawberries will be gone. Yeah, our strawberries are pretty much done. Mrs. P went out today and picked what was left and got maybe a handful of them. So that not much left. But again, that's the thing. That's why I plant, or why I like, let's put it this way, June bearing strawberries, because they all come in at once and then it's done. And I don't have to worry about that. And that garden's done for the year. I just let the runners do their thing and go from there. I'm done with the strawberry patch. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Not like we don't have enough other gardens to worry about at this point of year. Tony DG 9410. Does it make a difference when we watch if we hit the thumbs up? No, it doesn't affect. I don't know who did. I don't know who didn't. I don't know why YouTube does it. Maybe it helps them in the algorithm that more people put thumbs up. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if it makes any difference whatsoever, if the pluses or minuses or anything like that. I really don't pay attention to it. I appreciate it, but I don't. The fact that you're here it means more than, gee, I clicked the thumbs up. Okay. D. Gallagher, 64. What size solar generator do I need to run a fridge? Okay. And again, you're going to have to figure that one out specifically for yourself, because it's, again, going to be different than everybody else. What size refrigerator do you have? Look on the plate and see what, the shows your serial number and all that sort of stuff. What's the wattage that it pulls? You need to do the math, okay? How long do you need the generator to run the refrigerator for? I mean, does power go out around you for 2 hours? Or are you worried about power being out for 2 weeks? Okay. Remember that you're going to have to recharge that generator too. Now, if you've got one and hey, it works for 8 hours, great. But then when you've got to take it out, hopefully it's a sunny day, and however long it takes to recharge that generator, what are you running your refrigerator on? This is why I say all the time, you need to have 2 per appliance, because if you have a long-term power outage, think about this. You're running one generator while you're charging the other one. But then it's not just so easy as a flip and do it again, because if you run the first generator, again, let's use 8 hours, from 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, you flip, you put your other generator on, so you're charging the first one from 2 in the morning till 10 at night. Okay, it's 9:30 here, it's pitch black. Okay, so hopefully you got that charged in those steps. But now when you put that generator on again, you aren't getting any charge from 10 at night to 6 in the morning. So you need to remember this too. You don't have constant sun. It's not, it rains, it's cloudy. You'll still get some solar input, but you're not going to max out unless you've got a perfectly sunny day. But you need to figure out for yourself what your time frame is, what the watt hours are that your refrigerator uses. In a nutshell, you could use a 1300 watt generator for probably around 7 or 8 hours. Okay, that's it. That's what it's going to get you. From there, you got to figure it out. If you need longer than that, maybe you're looking at a 2000 or 2400 watts. Okay, but you're going to need to have multiples. Von Mousetrap, good evening, Mr. P. Have you heard anything or have an opinion? I have an opinion on everything. Whether or not it's good is a question. On rapid radios, no monthly fee, free nationwide walkie-talkie two-way radio. I have never heard of them. It's interesting that you say free nationwide walkie-talkie two-way radio. There's no way in the world it's a two-way radio, because that's a certain frequency that each radio is on, and there aren't enough frequencies out there for every person to have a free radio. Okay, walkie-talkie, sure, if you're just talking about open, maybe. I've never heard of them, so I mean, I can't really say much, but it's worth looking into. I mean, maybe I'll go see if I can find something out about them. Email some, if you got any information on it, email me a web page or something like that so I can at least look at it. Sounds interesting. Sinbob 00. This is my first time planting sweet potatoes. Should I put collars on them to keep cutworms from cutting them off since they are small? Okay, I'm really confused. First off, I have no idea what you're talking about with collars on them. And to keep cutworms from cutting them off since they're small. Okay, first off with sweet potatoes, and forgive me if I'm misreading your question. You don't plant the potato and expect to get more potatoes. You need to plant the potato, and you should have done this like in January. So if you didn't do this, you're not getting potatoes this year. You need to plant the potato in December or January. Grow slips, the greenery that comes up, okay, off that potato you planted in the ground. You dig up that plant, you'll have now your potato with the slips shooting off the side, green going up, the roots going down. You break that off of the mother potato, get rid of the mother potato, okay? You plant the slip goes in the ground, and that is what you will get potatoes from, sweet potatoes from. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, collars, and when you're talking about cutworms, cutting them off. Are you talking from the slip, the new potatoes that are growing? I don't know how you're going to do something like that because that's all underground. So I'm really not understanding your question. Sorry. Robert, Mrs. P is 29, right? No, Mrs. P will be 47. So, yes, I robbed the cradle. Guys, be proud of me. Okay. Seriously, good points. Thank you. Forgot about the vining. Tired after being in the garden all day. Happy birthday to Mrs. P. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Janet says happy birthday. Thank you. Rough Sawn, musical instruments for prep. It's not a bad idea, okay, at all. I mean, if you know how to play guitar, I mean, I'm not thinking the drums are going to be that possible, but something, that's portable. I mean, you think about going on a camping trip or something like that. Somebody pulls out a guitar and everybody's singing around the campfire or whatever. Or you think about, the old West movies and somebody's there playing a piano. Not that I'm saying prep a piano, okay? But make the point. You're going to need entertainment. You're going to need something to take your mind off of the craziness that's going on around. I mean, we've all talked about stupid things to have that are actually good preps. Board games, decks of cards, a chess or checker game, backgammon, something like that. Something where you can focus your attention on something that's enjoyable, not stressful. Yet chess can be stressful. I get your poker or something like that. But musical instruments, yeah, that could be very useful for the morale of everybody. Hey, we're just going to get around and sing songs for an hour tonight. I mean, whether it is entertainment wise, whether it's, we'll just use the term religious wise, I don't think musical instruments are a bad idea at all. Okay. Because your mental health is going to be tested beyond anybody's imagination in an SHTF event. Lisa Meredith, what do I think about the Harbor Freight Predator Generator 5000, or do I know anything about it? I don't. I seem to remember one. I mean, there's a Harbor Freight in Knoxville that I've gone to a couple of times. I used to go to it all the time in Vegas, but it was only a mile away from my house. Now it's an hour away from my house. I've got a lot of my tools. You probably saw when I was sitting out in the garage the other day. I mean, the table saw that was next to me is Chicago, what I forget whatever it's called, but bought that at Harbor Freight. Works fine. I've seen the Predator generators. I know there's people on YouTube that have done reviews on it. But I'll give you this as my theory on something like that. Sure, inevitably it's made in China, but then again, it's always every solar generator. Okay. As long as you go into it with that mindset going, okay, it's a Harbor Freight product, which means it's not top of the line. Okay. We know it's made in China, but it's like I've said about guns or whatever it is. Would you rather have something that hopefully works or nothing that guaranteed doesn't, and people have asked me about guns or, I can't afford much. Should I go out and buy a High Point or something, for $150 or 100? Yeah. Okay. You want the Ruger or the CZ or the Smith & Wesson or whatever it is, save for it, but get something. Go spend the $125 on the High Point, save for the $500 you need for the other one. And if it's 6 months from now that you can finally get your Ruger or whatever you want, okay, now you got two, all right? This ain't the most reliable, accurate, the High Point isn't the most reliable, accurate weapon at all, okay? Maybe the Predator's the same way for a generator, but it's better than throwing rocks or, for you in the generator, better for, rubbing sticks or, getting on a bicycle and pedaling because you just stole the alternator off an old car. Trying to generate electricity that way. It's anything is better than nothing. There comes to a point, the quality quantity debate. Okay. Well, if you got zero, it doesn't matter. Okay? If you get zero quantity, you have zero quality. So that's my way of looking. I'd rather have something inferior than have nothing. Food. I'd rather eat ramen noodles than eat nothing, right? Country Humans Network. What am I getting for birthday cake for Mrs. P? We can't eat cake. She wants her blinis. If you don't know what blinis are basically they're like crepes. Real thin pancakes. Just the Russian way of doing it. It's milk and flour and sugar and eggs. So. Just very thin. Patty Foot, Mr. P, I was on my way to Rogersville from Morristown and saw Sharp's Chapel sign. Thought of you and Mrs. P. That would be where we are. So, yep. Wait a minute, you were on your way to Rogersville from Morristown. That would be heading north. How the hell would you see it? You're going the wrong way. Because Rogersville is northeast of Morristown. And I'm west of both of them. Southwest of both of them. That's interesting. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? Grumpy G, I love lemons. Best way to keep them fresh the longest. Leave them on the tree. Put them in the refrigerator. I can't give you an answer for that one. Vester, happy birthday, Mrs. P. David Schiaffo, hello, Pinball, or Schiaffo, one of the two. Apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Hello, Pinball. How bad do you think civil unrest will get in cities when Trump wins in November? I hope to leave Philly by then. I wouldn't want to be anywhere around a city. I mean, you remember all the screaming and yelling and everything like that was going on when he beat Hillary. Okay? This time they're going to be pissed. Okay, because now, hey, you know what? Remember all those riots that we had in Portland and burning down buildings? I mean, that wasn't over Trump. Okay? You're going to see a lot of that. I guarantee that when they call the election for Trump, there's going to be arson, murders, robberies, bricks through windows, all sorts of stuff. Whether or not it happens on Tuesday, November 5th, or we don't know until Wednesday or Thursday, or God forbid it's Bush v. Gore and we don't know till December. it's going to be interesting. I have a feeling we're going to know before before we go to bed on Tuesday, because I mean, as it stands right now, it looks like Trump is going to pull around 320 electoral votes. It's going to be a rout. And the media, of course, is going to hate everything. You know, every liberal is going to be out there saying that the election was rigged. Uh, you know, it's like, no, that's what your side does. But I think the civil unrest is going to be very bad. I would highly recommend, especially if you're in a city on those days, depending on where you are. I'm not worried about here. I mean, my county voted like 94% for Trump against Biden last time. I'm not overly worried about, you know, a bunch of Biden supporters, you know, all six of them or whatever, uh, around me. But if you're in a city, that might be a day to go, you know what, honey? Taking the day off. We're going to vote in the morning, and then we're going to grandma's house out in the country, you know, and hope to God our insurance is paid off. K Island, Mrs. P, wishing you a good health and much joy. Happy birthday. And David Haley and Patty Foot with happy birthday wishes. Dan 2832, any idea why one peach tree would be almost bald when the others are full of leaves, less than 3 years old? My guess is you have some sort of disease in the tree or the tree is practically dead. Uh, yeah, somehow that tree is about dead. So, you know, go out there and not one of the branches that's got leaves on it, leave those, but one of the branches, thinner one that doesn't have leaves. See if it snaps. If it snaps, it's totally dry, then your tree's dying. What caused that? Then that I have no idea. I mean, it could just be planted in the wrong place. There could be something in the soil right there. It could be water. It could be sun. It could be fungus. It could be bugs. I mean, it could have termites in it. Who knows? I mean, there could be a million reasons, but it sounds like the tree's just dead. Vicky Gossett, happy everyone. I also have a birthday tomorrow. There you go, Vicky. Happy birthday to you too. Mountaintop. Oh, here we go. Yes, I will save all my garlic for seeding next year. Let me know. Let me know how that works for you, brother. Limited access pinball. I'm in Northeast South Dakota. I think it's like think you aren't in Northeast Southwest Virginia because we need all four directions. Weather weird, but I want to plant garlic and onions in the fall. Been a strange year here for growing. Uh, okay, where you are, and again, I've never lived up in the Dakotas. You were, I, you know, most of the snow is not going to bother garlic or anything like that, but the amount of snow you guys get up there, I mean, when you got 3 feet of snow on the ground, yeah, it's going to be a problem. Uh, yeah, you've got to be in my guess, and I'd ask somebody who lives up there, is as soon as you can work the ground at the first spring thaw, that would be when you'd plant. Because I mean, otherwise, yeah, you're going to have to ask somebody that lives up there. Like I said, I don't have any experience growing up in that area. I can't tell you. Fastball 2611. Hi, Pinball. Talk about prepping tonight. The wife is canning 24 half pints of white corn. We bought a case of corn, approximately 25 cents a cop. Okay? That's a good deal. I'm surprised you're getting corn that cheap, considering it's not corn harvest time. Usually, you know, get down to get 30 cents an ear or something like that. You get 25 cents a ear of corn. Yeah, I don't blame her for processing corn. And I hate to clean up the mess after all that sticky corn milk. Oh, just trying to shave all the corn off the cob. Yeah, but hey, I agree with you. You found it cheap, get it, process it, put it away. Because when everybody else going, it's 90 cents an ear for corn, you're going, yeah, I got this for 25 cents this year. So Magic 8 Ball. What do I think is the best crop to grow in a world-ending scenario? uh, if you could only grow one thing, sweet potatoes or beets. That was it. One of those two would be, if you could only grow one thing, I'd grow one of those two things. And probably I'd lean towards sweet potatoes just because you can get more uh, volume per square foot. The only problem is, as I said before, sweet potatoes is a two-step process to grow, and there's a lot of people that don't know that. But yeah, that would be my number one and number two. Number one, sweet potatoes. Number two, beets. For nutrition value, for the fullness that they will give you, and just for the sheer volume that you can get. Prep Rebel was totally about the borscht. Okay, good. Mark K with a happy anniversary or happy birthday. Gardenmatic, happy birthday, and happy belated birthday to you, Gardenmatic. Okay, let's see. Cheryl, 6319, happy birthday. I hope Mrs. P's upstairs watching. She got a lot of love tonight. Northern Ozark Homestead. I'm just a fly-by-nighter, nothing to see in Southwest Missouri. There you go. Amanda Wilkerson, same question. Blackberry wine, yes, you can. We talked about that. Lisa McLeod, I'm just running across this in the chat here. I hope I said thank you for the super chat for Mrs. P's birthday wishes. Thank you very much. I don't remember if I did, but I will again if I did. Let's see. Northern Ozark, thank you to all the active vets, those hurt protecting us and those fallen. Yeah, and this is remember what this weekend is, guys. This is Memorial Day. This is the day to honor those who died for this country, not the guys who served. Okay, this is the day to honor those who paid the ultimate price. Veterans Day is for all those of us that served. Memorial Day is for the guys who gave up a hell of a lot more than the rest of us did. Original One Shot, One Kill. J.A. Bashevsky Vodka. Monopolova, Austrian potato vodka, not expensive. Okay, I've never heard of it. Okay, but yeah, you're again talking the same thing. I'm a potato vodka. I get the kick out of the Austrian potato vodka with the Polish name. So, LG girl, hope Mrs. P has a great day tomorrow. Me too, because that'll, happy wife, happy life. Karen Tomer, I like Blue Ice because it's potato vodka and it's so smooth. Okay, I don't know if I've ever heard of Blue Ice. I know I've never had it. I can't picture it. No, granted, I mean, it's been 30 years since I tended bars, so. Florida homesteading, the price of fruit trees have gone way up in price. Glad I bought mine a few years ago. The price of everything's gone up in price, so, but I agree with you. It's, things are just getting crazier. Everything is getting more crazy expensive. NY Budget Prepper, looking to be a YouTuber for budget prepping. Do you worry that you're most likely on every database within our government? YouTube didn't put me on the database, okay? The vehicle I drive or where I'm in the house or every time I've bought a gun or anything. I mean, the fact that if I'm on a list and the fact that you're in the chat room here, guess what? You're on the list, okay? we are monitored beyond belief. They know what, you walk into Bass Pro Shops and buy a whole bunch of camping gear, you're on a list. Okay. Think about going to the grocery store. Use your Kroger card or, Dominic's card. Does Dominic, was it Jewel bought Dominic's or something like that? I forget. Okay. But, use your grocery card. It's not just to give you discounts. They track what you buy. So all those coupons that they mail you, do you ever notice how it's like, wow, they sent me all these coupons. So look, it's all stuff I buy. Yeah, no kidding, because they've tracked you. They know exactly what you buy, so they're target marketing you. I mean, you are tracked in everything you do. Nielsen TV, how many people are voluntarily giving up the information? We, without even knowing it, give out more information than you can shake a stick at. How many times do you drive past a camera and not even know it? Do you think they monitor your bank account, your brokerage account? Yeah. I mean, trust me, if they want you on a list, you're already there. Kevin Little, I take new Amsterdam 100 proof vodka and add black licorice. After a few weeks, tastes like brandy. That'd be interesting. Sounds good. Mountain Man. There's one I've never heard of. Maple syrup is good for making wines. Never heard of that. That could be really interesting. Almost like a caramel wine. That's what I think it would come out like. Ultra Mega Patriot, hello from Mississippi. Hello back to you from Tennessee. Karen Tomor, probably butchering that name. I've been making mulberry cordial. That sounds good. Amanda Wilkerson, I like sweet wine. I use 4 cups of sugar. There you go. Okay. Fat Daddy, nice hat. You've seen me wear this one before. This is the normal hat. Just when I don't feel like wearing it because this one gets hot. Laura Eldridge, I made your grape wine recipe and capped it with a cork. Will it be safe to store this way and for how long? Okay, as long as you didn't cap it with a cork while it's fermenting, because you're building up all that carbon dioxide in there. You have to let it breathe while it's fermenting for that 3 to 4 weeks. After the 3 to 4 weeks, once all that yeast is dead and it's in the bottom, the sediment on the bottom, yes, then you can decant it, put it in a bottle, strain it off from the yeast, obviously, and cork it. That's fine. But do not cork it right off of the beginning. That bottle will explode. Florida Mama Bear, we use pop-up canopies without the cover and add the shade cloth. Okay. I could see that. That would work. There we go. We shot to the bottom. 9:57. We're flying through the night again. Let's see. Prep Rebels, so I need 4 solar generators, 2 for north and 2 for south. Thanks for clarifying that for me. I was about to ask you this question. There you go. Ed Kirkpatrick, any trouble with ticks this year? We don't have them terribly here. I mean, then again, I'm not out walking through the woods. Okay. I keep my yard mowed. That's the first thing you're going to do to control ticks, is you're not going to have high grass. I've found a couple this year, but nothing out of the normal. And I didn't even put any eliminator down this year. So I wouldn't say any different than normal. Original one shot, one kill. Figure on average 200 watts per hour for the average fridge. So a 2,000 watt generator will run it for 10 hours without a recharge. Okay. And that's what I was talking about before. That's the math that you need to figure out. Okay. So, and he's correct. If you're getting 200 watts, if you're using 200 watts per hour, now you know how many watts in your generator. It'll run it for 10 hours. So again, if you go from 6 o'clock to 4 o'clock, that's great. Now the next one's going to run from 4 o'clock to 2 a.m. You got to somehow figure this out. So now remember, I wouldn't be worried about the refrigerator from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. per se, because you're not going to be opening the door. But if you've got kids that like to go in there, gee, I'm hungry, open the door and stand there for 3 minutes, you're going to suck the power out a lot faster. And also remember this, A full fridge or a full freezer will stay cold longer because everything in there acts like, uh, that mass is going to help each other stay cold. Good tip. I do this. I hope a lot of you do it too. Uh, Empty milk jugs or something like that, when you've got them, fill it with water, especially if you get a chest freezer. Okay. Fill it with water, put it in your chest freezer, put a couple of them in there. If the power goes out, that will help a little bit, maybe get you an extra hour's worth of cold in there, because it's going to take a while for that block of ice to thaw out. Ann Palmer, my 9-year-old computer is on its last days. Any suggestions on a brand, and any suggestions on antivirus? I've had HP computers forever. I just like them. Okay. They seem to work fine for me. For an antivirus, I've used AVG forever. It's free. I haven't caught a virus on a computer in 20 years. And God knows I go to enough freaking websites. You think I'd get one. Uh, Not once they're going to get me in trouble. But I've never had a problem. AVG has caught more phishing, scams, all sorts of stuff on there that you can shake a stick at. So, all right, guys, that is 10 o'clock. Y'all have a good evening, and we will see you in the morning. Stay safe out there. Pinball out.